Welcome back, it's Amy. In the last two videos we covered some techniques for preventing a lapse from becoming a relapse. In this video I'm going to give you the last three of the 8 that I promised. So we'll start with number 6 then, and that is coping with urges. This is something you have to do if you are having a lapse. Sexual aggression generally results in some kind of immediate gratification for the offender. This is called the PIG phenomenon. I'm sorry for the acronym, but that is what it's called. It stands for Phenomenon of Immediate Gratification. The same goes for any other kind of self-defeating or abusive behavior, but in regard to sexual offenses. A person who sexually abuses a child, for example, might feel pleased because of the perceived intimacy with the child. That immediate gratification, rather than focusing on the hurt of the abuse, those feelings are delayed. Only the immediate gratification is the focus. Self-disgust will come way later. But if you focus on that immediate gratification during a lapse and neglect to think about the after effects, the probability of a relapse will then increase. All right? If you focused on the negative, you wouldn't commit the offense. Positive expectancies are experienced when you have the urge to offend. You expect that it's going to feel good. If you are in a high-risk situation, the positive expectancy outcome is even higher. Urges do not increase over time. Most people think that they do, but they don't increase over time. Therefore, they do not become harder to resist, quite the opposite, if you recognize them and you focus on the negative outcome. All right? You need to see 3 things when you have an urge. First of all, you have to understand that giving into the urge, that is your decision. It is an intentional choice. You have to see it that way. Number 2, if you do not submit to that urge, eventually that urge will decrease over time. All right? And number 3 to remember when you have an urge, use your positive self-talk. Say things like, rape does not make anybody feel good, or 2 minutes of power isn't worth 20 years in prison. Whatever it takes, whatever you have to tell yourself. Again, this can be used for other behaviors very effectively. Self-talk using adverse images. We've discussed this before. Whatever it takes for you to concentrate on the negative of committing the act. All right? Number 7 is self-monitoring. Whenever you have the urge to engage in an aspect of your relapse process, whether it's affect or fantasy or planning, you should do this. Record the time of day that this happened. Write a description of your thoughts and feelings at the time. Write about your situation surrounding that urge. And then, on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to rate 3 things. The strength of the urge, your difficulty in tolerating the urge, and your mood as a result. You will eventually, if you do this monitoring, you will see a pattern. All right? And then remember your external supervisory dimension, the people who know you well and can see you when you're heading down a bad road, sometimes even before you can see it. Schedule your activities around those people. The probability of getting involved in deviant behavior or deviant thoughts is low. Others can remind you if they see you in a high-risk situation or see you exhibiting high-risk behavior. And it also maintains your commitment to not having secrecy with those who are close to you. The last technique, number 8, is daily inventory. Many of those who I taught in prison used this. They said it was a very useful tool. They would inventory in the morning, and then they would inventory again at night. And people do this a lot of times anyway. You don't even realize that you're doing it. In other words, your morning inventory would be something like preparing yourself for the day. A lot of us do this. Look at the possible risk factors for the day. What's ahead of you? How are you going to handle it? And then your evening inventory. Review the problems that you had that day and see how you handled them. Even if you didn't handle things perfectly, which none of us do, use it as a learning opportunity for the next day or the next time you think you're going to encounter that same situation. Daily discipline allows you to anticipate high-risk situations and monitor yourself for relapse. You might see it as a hassle, I understand that, but refusing to think about things doesn't stop them from happening, quite the opposite. Don't ignore warning signs, precursors, risk factors. All right, next time we're going to move on to a new module called Needs and Issues. Stay tuned. And until next time, please subscribe to this channel, please, oh please. And you can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. And until next time, be well.